I'm with Warwick Powell from BeefLedger Ltd, and Warwick's in the studio today to talk about BeefLedger. G'day, Warwick.
Hey, g'day, Tim.
Good
Great
to see you
back.
again. Yeah. So now, exciting journey for BeefLedger, and you know, you're using all this new technology. Just give us a quick overview.
Look, Tim, it's fantastic to be able to bring new technology to solve age-old problems, which is really about trust and the confidence that people have in what they're eating. People are paying good money and they want to know that what's on their plate is actually what it's meant to be.
Well, I've had that experience before, buying something that wasn't what it was supposed to be. So this is a project to protect not only consumers from the validity and the credentialed product that they're buying, but you're also protecting brand as well. For Australian
absolutely,
brands.
Absolutely, Tim. At the bottom line of all of this is about creating value for people who pursue excellence and to do the right thing. What we've got to do is create mechanisms that reward people who consistently commit to high quality, high standards, and high standards of integrity.
Now, you've just recently been to China. How does China receive that?
The Chinese marketplace is calling out for solutions that give their consuming public greater confidence that what they're paying for is actually what they're meant to be getting. There have been food scandals now on and off over the last 10 years, and the Chinese government is also cracking down very hard on bad behaviour in supply chains. And I guess what we're doing is bringing in a layer of technology that hopefully contributes to that overall effort, which is to make sure that food that arrives in China, that arrives on people's plates and in restaurants, is the real deal and it's safe.
And it's not just the Chinese government's looking at this, but also there's all that infrastructure in between that's looking at how do we reduce our transport costs, how do we ensure that this product is being shipped correctly. There's all these little things that you don't think about. When you think farm to plate, we're not just going from the farm, there's the plate. I mean, you're talking about a whole supply chain here.
Look, it's a very complex supply chain, in fact, and the devil is always in the detail. So every step of this complex supply chain where we're taking a live animal and we're eventually transforming that into something that's in a package and ultimately on someone's plate requires attention to detail. And we're working with stakeholders from the farm all the way through with transportation, insurance, people in packaging, processing, wholesale importing, administration, food safety, you name it. We've got stakeholders right through the whole supply chain involved in this process.
And it's fantastic. The technology has now enabled this to the point where the end user can scan a code and they can trace the animal from the paddock, they can trace the journey via the map, because your packaging contains special electronic instruments that broadcast where it is and what the temperature is of the product.
Yes, in fact, the packaging is part of ultimately the integrated solution. So the blockchain where data gets stored is one part of the solution, but in the end we have to integrate that with packaging innovation, with Internet of Things technologies that ultimately allow people to have confidence that the information that they're accessing is also true and accurate.
So you've also got a crypto, because you're on the blockchain, you have a token representation of that. What's that? That's called the beef token?
Of course it's called the beef token. It's a proof of stake, if you will. The token really allows us to explore a number of avenues to create value in this supply chain. Of course, as a means of payment, we can use the token to reward behaviour and to incentivise people to do the right thing. It's also a way in which we can simplify and streamline the payment system so that the token represents in effect an IOU that sits on top of a more conventional fiat currency transaction mechanism, but in a very streamlined, low-cost way.
So if you were to say to people in just one simple sentence, what would BeefLedger, ultimately the value of BeefLedger be?
The value of BeefLedger is to ensure that people get what they're paying for and that people who do the right thing are rewarded for making the investments in doing the right thing.
For people interested in the BeefLedger story and how this new technology is changing the supply chain delivery and credentialing goods, visit beefledger.io. Warwick, thank you very much for coming in today.
Absolute pleasure.